right here.
It's been quite a year for Olivia Rodrigo. Record-breaking hits, multiple awards, and an invite to the White House. Even though, as her hit song reminds us, she's barely old enough to drive. Tracy Smith caught up with her for the record.
Got my driver's license last week, just like we always talked about.
She's the girl who turned pain into platinum. Olivia Rodrigo
And good for you, it's like you never even met me.
is a perfect storm of talent, charm, and ambition,
'Cause all I ever wanted was to be enough for you.
who seemingly came out of nowhere this year and exploded onto the national stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, Olivia Rodrigo!
No, we weren't perfect, but I've never felt this way for no one.
For starters, her very first album, Sour, which debuted last spring at #1, was hailed by critics as revelatory.
You could be so okay.
4 of the tracks hit the top 10, and this one, Driver's License, was for a time the most listened to streaming song on the planet.
You said forever, now I drive alone past your street. If you were true, there's no day.
At 18, Olivia Rodrigo is on a run most singer-songwriters can only dream about.
Ain't it funny? All the twisted games.
And it all started at her childhood home in Southern California,
Lyrics that I wrote.
You could barely write.
in the bedroom where she wrote so many of her songs.
I mean, every song on Sour, or at least most of the songs, are these cauldron of emotions set to this beautiful music. Where does that come from?
I've always been obsessed with heartbreak songs. I wrote heartbreak songs before I'd ever had a boyfriend, honestly, and I've just always been obsessed with that feeling. And I think there's nothing sort of more painful as like a human being than that feeling of loss.
Seems she was always a performer.
Thank you, I love you.
The only child of a teacher and a therapist, Olivia Rodrigo was comfortable enough at age 7 to sing in front of a crowd. And at 13, she wound up in the Disney TV orbit.
No one at this school gets us. Are we too weird?
First on Bizaardvark,
I'm just that talented.
then High School Musical: The Musical, the series.
I think there's something really cool about being like a young, 13-year-old girl on a set and having to emote in front of a bunch of people that you don't know. I think that got me really comfortable with my emotions and expressing those emotions. And I think in hindsight, it's probably one of the reasons why I, am so comfortable emoting in my songwriting.
And I know we weren't perfect, but I've never felt.
Music, she says, has become her emotional safety valve, heavy on the emotional.
I just can't imagine
And few of her songs express that better than Driver's License,
that I'm gone.
a wrenching lament from a teenage girl who got her license at the same time she lost the love of her life.
You said forever, now I drive alone past your street. Got my driver's license last week, just like we always talked about.
So like something like that.
Gives me chills. Did it give you chills the first time you did that?
I just remember writing it and feeling like it actually was like a page ripped out of my diary because it was so intimate and vulnerable.
Wait, what am I listening to?
Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo, man.
In fact, the song seemed to strike a chord with all ages and even inspired a sketch on Saturday Night Live.
Red lights, stop signs, I still see your face.
She says the song is rooted in real heartache about a real breakup, but it's not who she is.
Was there a part of you that thought, maybe I don't want to share that with the world?
I just think there was no other option for me. I had to write it. I had to write it for me. I had to get it out. I think you'd feel sick if you kept all of that in, but really at the core of it, I had to do it for myself.
How dark did it get for you?
I mean, I was very sad. I was a 17-year-old girl going through my first real heartbreak, but I think a lot of people also think listening to my music that I'm really like sad, depressed person, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. You know, definitely not at all, you know, crying on my bedroom floor all the time. But yeah, it's fun to write about stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like if I was just writing about how, you know, I was happy going and getting my iced latte every morning, like nobody would listen to it, it wouldn't be interesting.
Joining us in the briefing room is actress and multi-platinum recording singer-songwriter Olivia Rodrigo.
The spotlight on Olivia Rodrigo is a bit brighter now.
I am beyond honored and humbled.
She went to the White House in July to support the vaccination effort.
Of youth vaccination.
And has been on her share of red carpets of late. But she seems remarkably centered. And for that, she credits her strong relationship with her parents and her therapist.
When did you start therapy?
I hadn't really started going until I was like 16, and that was a really big life-changing moment, and I've learned so much about myself.
Was that something that you said, I need to go do this?
Yeah, it was. But, you know, I think there's sometimes a stigma around it too, like I was saying. You know, sometimes people are like, oh, you don't need that, you have so much, your life is so great, what are your problems? And I think that's definitely a thing that sometimes older people can do to younger people too, is kind of trivialize what they're going through just because, you know, it feels like, they're fine, they're just kids, they'll get through it. But
right,
it feels
it's
real.
teen
Yeah,
angst.
yeah. But it feels so real when you're in it, and it's so valid. And just because it's not, you know, an adult problem or you don't have to pay taxes yet or whatever doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt.
A few years ago, Olivia Rodrigo could only stand outside the Grammys as a fan. She's now earned a seat down front. This song, Traitor, is only her latest top 10 hit, from a teenager who reminds us all how to take the pain and turn it into something powerful.
You betrayed me, and I know that you'll never feel sorry.
I remember coming up with those lines first and being like, oh, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. After you write a song, there's like no greater euphoria than that. Feeling like, oh, I accomplished something and I did really good and I did my best and I took these like messy feelings and hopefully made something beautiful out of it.